2, 1. What's going on, guys? I am joined by Team Revelations Kuru, just ahead of the January SVO, SEAO, put that in some sort of order, cup that's going to be happening this weekend. And
Yeah.
I really thought it'd be cool this year that instead of just having the SVOs and then that being that, right? Before the SVO and then after the SVO, we kind of get a couple interviews with some of the players who played or are going to play, and just getting their thoughts. I really wanted to get a new player, but SEAO, your new players are cowards. I can't find any new players. So if you catch me in February or after SVO in January, please hit me up in Discord. Please. But anyway, enough with that. I'm joined by Team Revelations Kuro. How you doing, man?
Hi. Hi. I'm doing fine. So, if you guys don't already know me, I'm most well known for hugging a body pillow on stream. um, I'm also well known for playing aggressive decks. I can't play mid range to save my life. So,
I kind of
yeah, I guess
understand
that's
that.
enough about me.
That's cool. I 100% agree. Although right now aggro blood doesn't feel like it's doing so well.
Yeah. Aggro hasn't felt very good for quite a while.
Hurts. Considering this meta, I actually like this one a lot. A lot of decks are represented, but before we get to the decks and all that, I want to talk a little bit about you. So
All right.
I guess for a veteran player, how do you feel about your performance last year, right? So I kind of want to start the conversation off there.
Yeah. So I started last year pretty strong. I got I got fourth at Razor Cup with one of my favorite decks I've ever played with the 2 copies of Nacht.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. People like to joke that, and I think it's actually true that like I'm the only person to top a premier event with Nacht after DFB released. Not after DFB released, after Omen released. So
Yeah.
that was so that's like pretty funny. It shows that I play bad decks. I didn't take the game super seriously after the first 3 months because I didn't really enjoy the metas. So I played the rest of the SVOs like really rusty. I topped once. I misplayed on stream in top four. I literally threw top four, but
Ooh, that hurts.
yeah, but we don't have to talk about that. I didn't do any I didn't do any preparation, so it's like about expected, right? So in the end, I finished like 15th on the overall score leaderboards, like the point leaderboards. So that was like pretty decent. I know I can do better if like I enjoy the meta, but didn't really feel like playing. So
Understood. I mean,
what can you do,
15th
right?
is 15th is pretty commendable. Like out of the entire region, and SEO is not a weak region.
Yeah, SEO is interesting because people bring a lot of like weird decks or interesting decks, but there's so many players that like even like I'm sure you guys know SEO from WGP 2018. Like SEO is an
Yeah.
amazing player. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he made contenders last year.
Nope, he did not.
Not to call
Unfortunately,
not to call him out because he's like an amazing player, way
he's
better
very
player than me,
strong.
obviously. Yeah, but yeah, it just shows like how difficult SEO is that he didn't make contenders the year after he got to Worlds.
Yeah. So I mean, he did really well during a lot of the SVOs. He just didn't
Yeah,
quite get enough fast enough to get into contenders, unfortunately.
but he won November Cup though, which was like a decent amount of money as well. So it's
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
cool.
he doesn't walk away empty-handed. But
Yeah.
I guess you kind of talked about the meta back then. Last year, you weren't really a big fan of the meta then. What about now? I feel like with the Ultimate Coliseum's release, a lot of like deck archetypes are now viable.
Yeah, so this meta is pretty interesting. Yeah, as you said, there's a lot of like tier three-ish like interesting decks that are viable. I don't particularly still enjoy any of the decks, but this meta feels more skill based than before because there's like a lot of metas where people kind of felt that like you high roll Agnes or high roll this, high roll that, and you just win. I can kind of confirm that because I didn't deserve to top the second SVO I topped last year.
Shh,
I didn't
shh.
deserve that at all.
You definitely deserved it. Shh, don't tell nobody.
But so now like even though I don't really enjoy any of the deck archetypes, like Kuan does remind me of Daria, which is one of my favorite
A little
decks
bit.
unlimited. So yeah, so like that's pretty cool. But what I noticed is that the Shadow deck especially takes like an insane amount of skill. And
Yes.
there's also a control forest deck going around, like Matsu, who was on Rev, who's now playing for the pro team like Nagoya Oja. He won JCG with it. It's like a
Wow.
really interesting deck, and I have no fucking clue how to play it. Oh wait, sorry. Is it esports? Am I not
Y-
supposed to say that?
You're fine. You're fine. So yeah, I've heard whispers on the wind of a control force deck, but I haven't actually tried it out. I've really been just playing with Shadow. It's so fun, Gensetsu. Oh,
Yeah. Like yeah, like Shadow, the Shadow Mirror is really difficult as well.
it's
Like
hard.
yeah, like you have to think about tempo, but you have to think about like conserving your resources and going face as well. It's a big test of skill. It's not the skills I like as much. I really like deck building and I like playing aggressive decks, as, like less so than mid range. But it's like
Mm.
still like you can acknowledge that the deck takes insane amounts of skill.
Yeah, completely understood. I mean, there are times where you just sit there, you make a play, like, yeah, that was a misplay. I just lost the game.
Yeah. Like in testing for this SVO, it's like every other turn I make a play. I'm like, oh, I probably should have done something different.
exactly that.
I'm still really rusty, but like the format's not easy.
Mm. So then, I guess talking about some of the decks, you said you don't really care for a lot of the decks now, just because you prefer that aggro style of play.
Yeah,
Are there
like
decks that you do enjoy, or what decks are you playing now? If you don't mind sharing that. If you don't want to, it's okay.
I actually haven't decided on my SVO lineup.
You don't have much time, buddy.
Yeah, I don't. It's true. Um, so, yeah, but yeah, I really prefer the aggro and like the. I like hard combo, but I like the decks where you play aggressive and then you go into a combo finish. So
Okay.
yeah, so like Shadow is actually one of those decks. Like because Shadow is kind of like an aggressive deck, but you have to save your resources and you have to play a mid range game, so it's kind of like that. So Shadow's like really interesting to me.
The mid-range part is what's hard, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the mid range part is like the part I don't enjoy. Ambush Sword has always been a deck I like. It's like a deck that's pretty difficult because you're playing a control deck, but you're playing an aggressive deck. So you have to not die, but you have to also try and kill your opponent.
You have to not lose, but also win.
Yeah, you have to not lose. But also win. That's
When you put it like that, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like the dynamic between extending your plays and not giving your opponent the resources to kill you is pretty difficult.
Understood.
The deck's not as straightforward as before. Like it's very techy now because there's like less buffs in the format. So I haven't enjoyed it as much, but it's still one of the decks that I'm like happy exists in the format because it's very different.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and then aforementioned like Kuon Rune, like spellboost decks always take like a decent amount of skill. You can high roll with Kuon. Like sometimes you just
Turn 5,
get a
2
really
Kuon.
yeah. No, I mean 2 Kuon's not good, but yeah, I mean you can turn 5 Kuon and like so that happens sometimes, but in the games where you don't draw Kuon or in the games where like your hand is difficult to navigate, it's really skill intensive. So I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are happy that like the strongest decks aren't easy to play. I think that adds a lot to the actual meta because then it tests your skill.
Yeah.
Even if you have a strong deck. So
it's like less good for people who don't practice as much like me, but it's good for the meta overall.
oof. You can't burn yourself like that, man. I guess talking a little bit about that yourself. Considering how you did last year, you did, top 15. Not bad at all. The current meta is what it is. Do you have any goals for this year?
I really have to see like how the meta develops if I enjoy it. If I enjoy it, I want to do well with the decks I enjoy. But yeah, I think it's like still quite open. Obviously, whether or not I enjoy the decks, like I'll still play SVO, and if I like get lucky and top, then like that's always good because pricing is nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's free real estate.
Well, not exactly free. You got to beat a bunch of bodies first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So then, again, this year, is there like a spot you're aiming for, like to get a 1 monthly win or like points or?
I mean, if I can like make it to contenders or win a SVO, that would be great. But I'm not going to say like I feel I deserve it or I feel like I really want to get it. It's just kind of like I'll have fun playing the game and I'll see where that goes.
Okay, spoken like a true fan. I'll take that. So then, on that same note, let's imagine it's you. You get to Contenders Cup, and it's one other person. It's like you and that one other person at the finals. Who's that? Who do you want that other person to be?
Aside from people in the team, because obviously like team kill in finals is great. It's like kind of it's like bittersweet because only one of you can go, but like one of you is gonna go. So
Exactly.
That's, like, pretty cool. Yeah, but so aside from people who like are in the same team, I don't know, like I talked to people like Riripon, who used to be on Mana Search. He's a
Hmm.
free agent now. So I talked to Riripon quite a bit. I talked to Ako Payaso from Team Omnibus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty fun to meet them in finals.
Oh, okay. So those are your rivals. See, I told you I pulled that
Yeah,
answer out of you.
yeah,
It's so easy.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know who
I'm
my
looking
rival
for
is.
side rivals. Yeah.
And so I
It will
guess
also
just
be
to,
kind of
yeah. I'm sorry.
yeah. Sorry, my bad. It will also be kind of cool to meet someone who's like who I learned a lot from. There's a player who I think now he goes by like Kari or something, but
Hmm.
back then he was known as Maosama. I learned a lot about the game from him.
Okay, so Maosama would
Yeah,
be your go-to guy then.
yeah, like it'll be fun to meet the people I talk to. It'll be fun to meet Maosama as well. And I think
Hmm.
Maosama is an amazing player. He didn't have like a very amazing year last year, but I think he can do it.
Okay, so it's like a teacher versus student match in that
Yeah,
case. Like you
kind
got to
of,
cut down your master to become the next one.
maybe.
All right, so then, oh, that's actually a great segue. So you talk about Maosama, about how he taught you a lot of things growing
Yeah,
into the game.
yeah.
For the folks who are competing at the SEAO, SVO, or any of the SVOs watching this in the future, do you have any advice for the new folks out there?
Right. So I think the first thing you want to realize, and I think this is like said a lot. It sounds condescending, but it really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's that a lot of people like to say that reaching masters is the tutorial, and I really agree because the way this game's ladder system is set up, because you can't drop ranks. I think that to be able to be able to know that like you have at least some amount of experience or like some amount of ability to play at a tournament level, I really think like hitting masters is like really a prerequisite. And like it sounds like, oh, you can't write until you're this tall and like whatever. And it's like, yeah, there's people who are AA who have like won SVOs before, but it's pretty rare. And
No, it is hard. I get that,
yeah, like yeah.
especially in
So I
this
think that
region.
yeah, so I think that like I think it's good to understand like your weaknesses and stuff. Like I don't think I'm a very good player right now, obviously, based on the way I've been talking.
Yeah,
But
I'm not that
yeah,
good at all. It's fine. Don't worry about
no,
me.
no, 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 seriously. But yeah, but so I think it's like very important to know like that you can learn and then seek out that information. I think learning from better players is always good. So back then I had the good fortune of like talking to Maosama. I had the good fortune of joining Rev back then, and so a
Hmm.
lot of people in Rev helped me learn a lot of things. Right now, actually, if you want to get into the scene, there's a Discord server that I moderate for
Oh, nice. Go ahead.
called Shadowverse Newbies. So there's a bunch of resources there, a bunch of like competitive players willing to help people out. So that's always I think that's always like a good place to go.
No, I 100% agree. Like, just finding a community and having people to play against is
Yeah,
so important.
yeah,
So,
and the other thing I want to like reiterate is so I kind of got carried by like my experience in other card games. Please don't be like me. Please actually practice your decks. Please actually practice your decks and like try to make the right plays. Like it like practice really goes a long way. Like you can talk as much you want about this game being high roll, and like it kind of is, but um you
shots
need to
fired.
be able to yeah, but you need to be able to capitalize on the fact that you high roll properly. And if not, then you're like me and you throw fine and you throw like top four at SVO.
Oof. Oof.
So
Well, I
so like
mean,
yes, practice. Please don't be like me.
well, it's the same. It's the same in like getting to top eight, right? Like you can sometimes just high roll, regardless of you can high roll a tournament,
Yeah.
and I mean, the more you practice, the less likely that's going to happen. When I say that, I mean like if you practice, you put the time in, like you understand like the optimal plays, you understand the good and the best strategies, the best counter plays, then the idea of high rolling doesn't have to be your only out, right? You can say,
Yeah,
okay, because of my skill, I got there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like during Omen, especially like there were no SVOs during Omen because it was like WGP season, but
Mm.
I played a lot of community tournaments and like every other tournament I would like top four or whatever, which is like not the same as SVO top eight. It's like slightly easier, but I had like a lot of success during Omen in these tournaments, and then it carried and like I won like two SSCLs. I was like first on the leaderboards there. I kind of choked the the finals of the thing, but it's whatever. Yeah, and then like that skill kind of like carried over to Autosphere a bit because like I was still playing the decks I liked. But yeah, so at the time I practiced a lot because I really enjoyed those decks, and I built like a decent amount of those decks myself as well. So I like felt more motivation. So I think the key thing is that you need to find something that makes you motivated to practice, because you can't really play card games for like long hours of time if you don't enjoy like the decks you're playing.
No, 100% agree. Like, sometimes, like, I could just queue up with Q on, but you know what? I kind of want to play P2P Shadow.
PPP Shadow.
And I've claimed lives too. Don't get it twisted. It's yeah, it's like a tier 9 deck. I don't know. But yeah, like at some point you just have to be.
I think it's like tier 5.
I don't know, man. I think you're giving it too much credit.
Yeah, maybe low tier 4 actually.
But yeah, like having something that actually like is fun for you in the game is super important as well. I totally agree. But to your other point as well, find people who are also motivated. I think community terms is a great way to do that. So I think a lot of people, they watch SVO and they see the players and like, man, I'm not Grandmaster yet, or I'm not Master yet, and like, so I think they assume that they just can't hang with the rest of them. To your point, I mean, there are like AA players who had in the past have actually gone and top 8. It's not common, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't feel that you have to be Grandmaster. Although it's nice, it's good that you have that experience under your belt to actually enter.
Yeah. Like even if you don't expect to do well, you enter, you get the free emblem, you get like free packs to help build your collection. Like aside from the fact that like if you're busy during SVO, like you have better things to attend to, like work or like meeting friends, maybe you have a date or whatever. I mean, you play Shadowverse, so who knows. But,
you probably don't.
But aside from that, like if you have the time to play SVO, like you should. Like there's no reason not to. Like the emblem is. You can't get the emblem anywhere else. The emblem's free for participation. They changed it so that you don't have to win rounds to get packs. Like you just attend the rounds and you get packs. So it's like free packs.
Yeah, why would you not then?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do dailies, so like if you're gonna do dailies and like you basically get about a pack and a bit for like an hour, like why wouldn't you do the same like with SVO, where like one round's like 40 or 50 minutes, and like aside from playing the tournament and getting experience, you get free pack.
Pretty good.
Like
That's you sold me.
yeah, exactly, right. Now maybe you're gonna like enter your alt into SVO or something. Who knows?
If only. If I could just like talk on my phone and like have my phone just like play at SVO at the same time, because it's kind of like having a camera, right? Like you have the camera in front of me, I'm playing at the same time. If I could do that, I would.
You can be in top 8 while commentating top 8. That would be sick.
That would be tight. Commentate my own match.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. Before we get out of here, any shout outs or any words for anyone out there watching?
Yeah. I kind of want to mention like the other people who helped me get good at the game. There's Seru. Yeah, there's Seru from Team Revelation. He doesn't play tournaments, but he's like an insane player, and I've learned so much about like being restrained and like making disciplined plays from him. So he's insane. Shout outs to there's another player, I don't know if he plays anymore, Exoskeleton. He taught me a lot about like deck building and like meta game calls, which like helped reinforce my experience with that from other games. I mean, shout out to the rest of Team Revelation. I have a lot of friends there. I've been in the team for like almost 2 years now. It's always been great. Everyone in the team is an amazing person. Is there anyone else?
Sammy, you want Sammy to finally win.
Oh yeah. I hope Sammy wins an SV. Sammy made top cut like 3 times.
It was so many times, and just
I mean, I like to joke that we have the same amount of tops, but she did it with like way less time. She's like clearly a way better player than I am.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, you'll see her at the finals and at Contenders Cup
maybe.
this year.
Maybe. I wouldn't mind that actually. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I probably forgot someone. Please don't be angry at me. Please don't be angry at me. But
well,
yeah, I guess.
Yep. Well, then, for the folks watching at home, if you forgot anybody, put them in the comments below. Again, thank you for doing this. Good luck at the upcoming January Cup for SEAO this weekend.
Yeah, I'm ready to not make top 8.
What? With this whole thing, you don't even want to win?
No, I do want to win, but I'm like ready to not win.
Nah, you gotta have higher expectation than that, man.
Yeah.
But again, thanks a lot, Kuru. I'll see you there. Take care, man.
Yep. See you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.